Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Kari. This is Tiger Lily Designs. Welcome to Flosstube episode number 53. Yay, happy Friday to you. It's Friday Flosstube. I am here with a table full of goodies and we're gonna dig right in. It has been I feel like I've got a lot this week. It's not Keeper Club week, so I thought to myself, you know what? I've gotten some stitching done. I've gotten some knitting done, some stitching. I've got many WIPs to show you of what I worked on this week. And of course, there was my birthday start, and I've been stitching on that like it's my job. But I did start some other things as I was waiting patiently for that. So let's go through what I've got to share with you today. I've got 3 or 4 or 5 stitching WIPs. I've got a knitting WIP that I am working on. I have the giveaway winners from last episode, as well as a little bit of haul. So let's just dig right in, shall we? So we'll save the best for last, or we'll save the most recent for last. It's not necessarily the best, it's just the most recent. So I did, like I said, I was working on some other WIPs as I was waiting patiently for January 31st for my birthday style start for Harriet. So as I was working, let's just see what I was working on. So I pulled out, this is the Fox and Rabbit 2023 Mystery Sampler Stitch Along. Now, of course, it's a mystery, and every month they come out with a new portion. So here we are in February. Happy February, friends. So I did go ahead and print out, this was January, super heavy stitching. Spoiler alert, I'm not done yet. But this is the February release. It's super sweet. So like I said, this is free. You can go and grab this on their website, stitch along. It can be whatever you want. Whether you want to stitch it in one color, whether you want to stitch it, make each flower, different things. They have a Facebook group. It's just super fun. Lots of inspiration, lots of eye candy to see all the different things of how people are making it their own. And I kind of dig on it. Now, let me just pull out what I did work on. So I have been working on that, like I said. And let me just pull out my tracker information card so I can remember to tell you what I am stitching on, because, you know, it's hard for me to keep track of all the things. This is the 2023 Royal Gardens Mystery South Stitch Along from Fox and Rabbit. I'm stitching on the 18 count Dunes at Dusk from LFA Linens. And the floss I'm using first for my January piece is a Mo's Silk. It's a hank of silk that I got from the Mo's sale online, the Facebook group, in the color Rosy. So this is what I worked on. Like I said, I didn't get January done in the world of January, but I made a lot of progress since last week. So I am working, well, you can just see for yourself how far I got, because it's a very symmetrical pattern. You can totally see what I have left to do in January. You can see I finished the urn and all the things that go with the urn. So I did all that, and then I came back up and I'm going to work on those 3 flowers coming down. So, you know, it is a variegated floss, and I kind of love the movement in it. We talked about the variegation and whether you're a full X or half X cross stitcher during my live, and I was fascinated to find that I am totally in the minority in that I am not a full X stitcher. I kind of, even if it's variegated, I go all the way up and all the way down and all the things, and you can totally see that in this stitch. Okay, first of all, let's just drool on the LFA linens a little bit. This is Dunes at Dusk. It's a lovely taupey brown. I mean, the color is very true right here. The coloring, thank goodness the lighting is great here in Virginia this morning. So I'm getting a very true to light on the camera, but you can see right here in the stripes in my urns. And that's because I don't full X. I went all the way up. I think I did up down here, and then I did up down here. And so you get a little stripes, but that's okay. I am here for it. And you get a little bit of movement in the flowers. Anyway, so this is the January progress I have made. I sure would love to get caught up. The good news is that February looks like it's not nearly as dense, although that could be deceiving. You know, it could be deceiving. We're just going to be honest. Beautiful motifs. I'm loving it. So I have to decide. So I kind of had noted, I talked about how I'm going to do one color tonal stitch or one color all the stitch. And I said I was going to wait and see like what February looks like. I kind of think that I want this to be a different pink in the same pink family, maybe a brighter pink, probably brighter. I do have a couple hot pinks. So just because to kind of make each motif stand out, I don't know, we'll see. Do you think I should do all the same floss? I have a hank, so 100 yards. So I certainly could do the whole kit and caboodle in the one floss, all the same color, or I could make each motif, not make them all. I don't have 12 different pinks in the Mauve silk. I have a couple. So I don't know. I have to decide. I have some time to think about it since I have to catch up with January. But that is what I worked on while between last week and this week. I did get some stitching in on that. And then another whip that I pulled out this week. It seems like this one has gotten a little surge of excitement. There's a lot of other floss tubers and Instagram friends who are stitching. Miss Felicia. Now, if you remember, Miss Felicia is somebody that I started on August 18th, 2022. I did a full Aurifil color conversion to Aura Floss. So here is my card. There's also a link to I also have a blog post that gives you the color conversion if you don't want to take a screenshot of it, and it shows you that I am stitching this. This is Treehouse Fiber Arts cute little logo. It's the LFA Linens 20 count popover. So I stuck that on there so I could remember. So this one, if you recall, I am stitching this. Like I said, it's an Aurifil floss conversion. Here's all my yummy floss and my little floss keeper original design that I came up with. And yes, I don't have a pattern. I know you guys are so many things that I have to do. Too many things, not enough hours in the day, all the things. But so if you remember, I brought my border down. I'm taking away with the words and then let's change it up a little bit. But so what I did is I pulled this out, I think just one night, because I just wanted to make some more progress. Because my friend Sarah finished hers and have a little bit of FOMO. I'm behind. She is finished. Follow the tag. Let's see. Do we have? I forget what our hashtag is. I need to write them on my cards. But we have a hashtag for this one and it's super fun. So what I did for this one, my goal was just to do another motif. You can see there's obviously all a little the funky floral. I think that's what it is. Funky floral style. And I just wanted to finish another. So last time I was here, I had done this little funky flower. And so I went up and I did this one night this week. And so you can see I added that. Couldn't tell you what kind of flower that is. Couldn't even begin to guess what kind of flower that is, but I'm here for it. So I did give that some time. And then of course, I think I put some border stitches in and just until my night was done, till my stitching night was called to a close. And then Miss Felicia went back into her project bag and hasn't come out since. So maybe I'll try to give her one night a week. Interesting goal. I kind of don't have any goals like that. I kind of just, when it's time for me after dinner, we sit down and it's like, okay, what do I want to stitch on tonight? I kind of just stitch on what I want to at night. Whether it's knitting or stitching or all the things. Maybe if I had a goal, I might get something all done. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if that's how I'm going to roll. My work days are very goal oriented, very list oriented. Like that is very regimented. But by stitching, I kind of just like wing it. But it sure would be fun to come up to this one. This looks like that funky, to me, it reminds me of that fruit. Is that a dragon fruit or something? So funky. Funky is the word of this. So I just have to decide, bring him up and down. I do love this guy. And because I brought my border down, I have to decide where I'm going to put this rose, squeeze him in. Maybe if I shove this over. I know Sarah did the same kind of modifications and that she brought her border down as well. And I think she was able to tweak most of her flowers on there. I think, but the crowns, I don't remember where that rose is though on hers because I love that rose. You can actually tell what that flower is. That's a rose. So I certainly would love to throw that guy in there. I don't know if it would fit right there unless I shoved this guy over. Maybe that's what she did. I know that she had to move one of these flowers over a little bit. So I might have to do a little maneuvering before I go to my next motif just to see what kind of things I can squeeze on there. There's a lot of room right underneath this. Anyway, so I'll have to do some playing and jiggering around to see what I can get done. But that is my progress on Miss Felicia. So she got some love. What's another one? Okay, so this one I just pulled out. Now remember I showed you guys the super adorable, kind of went down the Satsuma Street, the Satsuma Street perforated paper ornament rabbit hole. Yes, look at me, English. So I finished that one. I did get my finishing goodies from Amazon, but I have not played with them yet. That's a dedicated, like, maybe this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But this is one. So I went ahead and I pulled this guy out and I do this. So these, first of all, these kits are super adorable, but all the fabric, all the threads come like wound up in a ball, no labels, no nothing. So I do separate it and I use one of my project and tracker cards just to keep it all straight. Haven't filled it out yet, but I use that to keep it straight. You could use like a greeting card, like if you get a postcard in the mail or the cover of like, you know, a birthday card or whatever, use that. It's great cardstock. Take your hole punches and just use it as a thread card. It's perfect for here and it fits right inside as it was. And so I pulled this guy out because it was just great, easy, mindless stitching. Let me pull him out of the package so you don't get the plastic glare. There it is. So that I got a couple colors in. I think I got all the red and that might be all the purple. I was just definitely, no, it's not. I'm working on, see his little dress. He doesn't wear a dress. His fancy little overcoat is purple and I was doing, so I'm just color completing just one color at a time and fill it until I'm finished. They're just that small where I feel like, oh, that's the back. See, my backs aren't pretty, but that's okay. I was just doing color completing. And so I've got one color completely done and I'm working on color number 2. Oh, look, I found my thing. It is thank you, Sarah, the Funky Flora SAL. She put it on our cute little legend that she made for, I need to make sure that gets back into my Felicia bag. Otherwise, when I go to stitch, I won't have any idea what the heck I'm doing. So I worked on that. And then let's get to the piece of resistance. What we've all been waiting for. Maybe you haven't been waiting for, but I feel like I've been talking about it for a while. But now I'm actually stitching on it, so it's super exciting. It's Harriet. Yay! Are you doing Harriet? Are you doing Harriet? I'm so much. Okay, first of all, let me show you. Okay, so this is what I got so far. If I'm missing your name, I've got Sarah, Jessica, Candy, Lorena, Nicole, Kathy, Greta, Suki, Shelley, Johnny, Chastity, Linda, Lucille, Rhonda, Shelley, and Maggie. All of my friends, whether you commented on Instagram or in YouTube, I'm trying to grab your names, or if you talked to me during my live, I want to make sure I have all my stitchy friends on here who are stitching this with me. So if I'm missing your name, shoot me a message, comment on the things that you're doing this out with me, because I want to make sure I get your name on this card, because that's just so fun. So here's my little needle minder. As you can see, it's holding my 3 needles. I'm using 3 needles because that way when I load them up, or at least I'm keeping 3 needles with the project. So that way, if I'm doing fill-in and I'm going to load all 6 strands of the flock, because I'm doing mine on 16 count, so it's 2 strands over 1 on Ada, 2 strands over 1. So if I'm doing something where I'm going to be needing I'm going to use all 6 strands in that one sitting, I go ahead and I load the 3 needles at once. And we talked about this on my live. I keep my needle minder on my card, because I put my card right next to me on my stitching table. And since I stitch in hand, I can't keep my needle minder on my floss because it weighs it down too much, but it's perfect on this card right next to me. And that way, when I'm switching needles, I don't stick. I have a bad habit of just holding my needle in my mouth. It's just, if I'm stitching and I hold it and I'm like, okay, let me just hold, because I have no place to put it. But if I have a needle minder, I'm not sticking it in my mouth. And, anyhow, maybe it's TMI. This is Harriet Hay. Mill and the Floss samplers. I'm using, like I said, 16 count LFA Boston Tea Party. This is my color conversion. I had a lot of friends who have asked me, and I will be doing a blog post. It's not up yet. It's on the to-do list, but like I said, to-do lists sometimes are miles long. So this is my color conversion. So if you want to take a screenshot, snap it, pause it, do the things, you can see I've got the called for DMCs in each of these called for boxes. And then next to it, if it has an equal sign, I'm using the called for. If it has some different terminology or different names, Gast, Colorworks, Week Style Works, like I said, I did a mostly over dyed cotton conversion. We talked about this, I think, in my last Flosstube, where I actually went to my needle workshop, sat on the floor, and played with all the floss. So I have my floss on the cute little floss drops tags, floss tags. I don't know the terminology. These floss tags that Sarah made me. She made me this cute little bling, my monogram bling, and then she made me my legend that she laminated, and it's got my color conversion on it, so that way I don't have to look at the back of the chart. And then all my pretty floss, which I then labeled also on the back. This is how I do it, just, you know, in case it helps you. I go ahead and I label. So for example, this is Week Style Works Monkey Grass. So there it is right here. This is the full strands. And then once I pull it off, if I end up having a less than 6 strands, so if I just use 2 strands and there's still 4 strands left, that's what goes in this hole. So my floss drops always have 2 holes at the bottom, a big one for the bulk, and then the little one for just what's left of the 6. So, and then I label it with the symbol for the chart too. So I don't have to, when I'm looking at just the chart, I can flip through and I'm like, okay, I know it's a green, but there's 3 greens here. Which green is the dash? Oh, okay, this one. So it's easy. And then up here, just for reference, I do have what the called for DMC is. So I do that for all of them. So you can see there's the symbol. I mean, these are cardstock, so they're obviously I can't reuse them because I made them personal for this project with the symbol and the DMC and all the things. But the reality is, especially on these big projects where I'm going to be working on Miss Harriet for, let's just say a while, at least a while. I don't know if she's going to go, how many months she's going to go, because I'm kind of digging on her so much. And I knew I would. I knew that she might be like a monogamous. Don't get mad at me if we see her every week for weeks and weeks and weeks. Hopefully you're excited about it. But let's see what kind of progress I got. So I started on Tuesday. I put 4 stitches in during the live because I can't stitch and live chat with you. But I did that night, get my rooster done just like okay, first of all. Oh, so gorgeous. Okay, like I said, this is Boston Tea Party, 16 count. So I'm doing 2 strands over 1. And we talked about where I started. So let's just review. Remember, I'm a center starter, and the center was right here in a couple of these steps. Somewhere around here was the center. And so I went ahead and counted. I did my little counting trick that I think I've talked about it before, and you can see, let me show you. So you can see right here, see my counting trick? It's really not that tricky, but so I do hash marks. So like I said, I don't do full X's, but to count all the way out, like I needed to go over 50, I think. So rather than having to recount 17 times, because that's what I end up having to do with my knitting, I end up, I did 9 hash marks and 1 full X, 9 hash marks and 1 full X. And that represents 10. So I could just count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so I need 52. And then I got to the end. So that's how I did. This is the bottom right here. Now I do want to share something because last night so I stitched on this on Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night was knitting, and then Thursday night. So last night I went back to this. So I got back to it, and then I realized I had an oopsie daisy, a miscount. And I am totally full. I totally embrace miscounts. Make it your own oopsie daisies. But let me show you where I did miscount. Just in case you're doing this, hopefully this helps you and you don't have to do what I did. So let's talk about it. So here we are. Like I said, I did the grass, and then I got down to this funky rainbow rooster. Love the rainbow rooster. Okay. And so I did the rainbow rooster. My night wasn't over, and I went ahead and I started doing this ladder stitch. Well, I am super bad in that everything I think is symmetrical. I think, there's 10 stitches this way and 10 stitches this way. I look a couple different times, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, this little ladder, right? These red steps. And so I went on the assumption they were all 10s. And I was like, okay, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Got down to the bottom, and then my night was over. Okay, so fast forward 2 nights, and I pick it back up. And I realized, you can see this darker because this is a new floss. It's where I started the variegation again. Right about here at this pink box, I think. I did 10 and I did 10 and I looked at it and I was like, but this, no. So don't do what I did and just think blindly that 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, step, 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 you're good to go, because you are not. There are random steps that are 9 stitches instead of 10. And so if you want your stuff, like I said, I totally embrace funky wonky things, but I didn't want it to, it was just going to mess up the whole situation. Like if this guy was off or whatever, the little motifs that are floating around, totally fine with them being off. But these steps being off was just messing everything up. So I did end up having to rip back, I think 3 or 4 steps, and then start over again. So that's what I got worked on now, but I'm working on the next set of funky rainbow birds. And I'll probably just finish this V. It's not that exciting, but it's real easy. It's quick. It's, you know, like I said, lots of stitching, lots of room. And then I might, because I think I'm right over here. I got all the way up to this edge. No, the rooster. All the way up to this edge. And so I might, because I know myself, and borders are my Achilles heels, so I might hop over here and start that border. I do know that she did note, so then I thought I was safe. I don't know why I thought I was safe, but she did note, well, I thought she did, that there was an area where the border count was not symmetrical too. No, letter stitched over 1, maybe not. But I think it's kind of like Mary. So I think I can't blindly go with the border. I do just have to pay attention as I go and make sure that there's not an extra stitch here or there or everywhere. But cautionary tale, if you are stitching Miss Harriet, those red steps are not symmetrical all the time. Learn from me. No biggie. It was only, you know, a little bit of time, not even 1 full strand, 1 full needles of floss frogged. So, you know, it's okay. But I was working on Miss Harriet, and that's the progress. And so, like I said, I'm sure she'll be back next week. Where I go with it might be the border. I might get the house to some fill-in section. But right now I'm having fun doing all the funky colors and the birds and things like that, because that's what brought me to her. So that is my stitching update for the week. So let's dig into some haul and knitting. All right, so let me show you my knitting progress because it's fun. Like I said, I worked on this Wednesday night. So I've got it in my giant sweater tote. And so can you guess what it is? It's a sweater. So it's my Calliope sweater from Espace Tricot. So there it is, super cute. Like I said, it's my second sweater. So we're doing a top-down raglan, and that's about the extent of my knowledge so far. I am using a Barocco yummy, yummy emerald green color, and as of Wednesday, I was able to get it onto the big needles. Yeah, so here it is. It's not going to be a turtleneck. It's gonna just kind of fall and drape on you, but I kind of don't hate that. I think it's because the needles are holding it up like this. But look at the ribbing. So this is what I've got so far. And I feel like I'm choking myself, but I'm not. Oh, so yummy. It's like a cashmere cotton blend, kind of DK weightish. I got stuck. So we're just going to be honest. I had to because I'm a new knitter. So although I understand what KFB stands for, knit front and back. So I needed to do some short row shaping. That's what comes up next. And so I did the marker setup row for the sleeves, I think, or sleeves. The sleeves are little short things right here, sleeves, and then there's the front and the back. Well, the back, I need to do some short row shaping. We'll raise the back neck slightly. We recommend using the German short row method. Heard that before. No idea how to do it. So that is where we are. So I had to stop that night. Excuse me while I take my sweater hat off. I had to stop knitting for the night. I think I went on to the Satsuma ornament because I feel like I needed to move on. I'm going to have to do some YouTube education, Google some things, watch some, but it was just so fun. Look at okay, I'm pretty impressed with myself, if I do say so. Like, this is, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. German short row shaping. Sounds kind of scary, but so far I did learn how to PFB, purl front and back. That was an increase that I used somewhere on this. I think every section I did a PFB, and YouTube education. Listen, got some YouTube education. It was great, and I got it done, and I think it looks right, and so I'm going with it. So maybe the knit F&B is the same, but I don't know. I have to do some Googling, some YouTube education on the German short row method to do the back. So hopefully I'll get that done this weekend, have some time to dedicate and watch the YouTube, do the things like I watch a little bit, pause, do a little bit. And if it works, great. I'm not ripping it out. If it doesn't, I'm ripping it out and watching again and doing again. That's how I do it. I kind of teach myself. I could go to my knitting store, my local knitting store, but you know what? The education that is on YouTube, why? Anyway. All right, so I got a little bit of stitchy, I got a little bit of haul. I got a little bit of stitchy haul and a little bit of fabric haul. And so I'm gonna show you both because it's fun. So thank you so much to my friend Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher. If you don't watch her, you should be. But she showed this, I think, on Instagram. Either on Flosstube or Instagram. I am a super fan on both. So I'm sure if she probably showed it in both areas. But this is Lucy Barbara. It's a hats chart, limited exclusive reproduction for traditional stitches. So it's up in Canada. It's a limited edition. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, that is super funky. Look at the flower pots and the flowers and all the colors and this little deer in the thing. So she's definitely stitching on it. I don't remember if she's using the silk. So it's called for in Soie silks or the DMC. And so I went ahead and I got mine kitted up with the DMC from Traditional Stitches, got it all put together. So I don't know when I'm gonna start this. I'm just gonna put it inside the bag and put it over in my storage bin in my little sampler magazine file, half kitted, ready to go, because I have too many samplers, too many big girls already in the works, in the WIP bag. I have too many big girls. And so I feel like I need to finish a big girl before I can start yet another one. I don't even know how many big girls I have. Nobody's counting. No cross stitch, please, here. So the one other thing that I got myself is kind of a little bit for me and a little bit for you in the future. So I decided, I had so many friends. So obviously I'm a quilter, seeing the fabric, all the things, and there's the yarn. So now there's a new cabinet for yarn. You can't see my stitching cabinet, it's way over there. But I've got fabric and I've got yarns and I've got cross stitch. Well, so I show you guys my quilting table runners a lot of the times. And that's my like easy go-to. First of all, I love blankets. I have quilts under, I stitch under one of my quilts every day. I just quilts everywhere. And I love quilts, but they are a little overwhelming if you are a new quilter, new to the sewing world. And so I've had a lot of friends, a lot of new friends, a lot of people reach out. You know, I do some quilting project bag tutorials, and I've done some tutorials on some blocks, but I've never done like a full project. And so I've decided, kind of because I think you guys can do this. And if you want to do it, let's do it together. So I am designing I'm not going to call it beginner friendly because it's going to be like an adventurous beginner. But the good thing is, if you're an adventurous beginner, I'm going to step-by-step video everything for you. So as long as you know how to work your sewing machine, we're going to get her done and it's going to be fun. So I decided that I wanted to design a simple, adventurous beginner level. So the block isn't just going to be squares, but it's not going to be like crazy. I haven't decided on the design. I'm working it out. Step one was to get the fabric. And so I am doing a fat quarter friendly table runner quilt along, hopefully in March, if I get my act together. Right now I'm, knee deep in project keepers for February, and I'll show you one of the things at the end if you want a little Tiger Lily update. But so this is like fun, and so I have to balance between the work and the planning and the fun. But first was getting the fabric, and so here is my fabric. Now you don't need this many. I don't know how many fat quarters you're going to need. I'm going to give you plenty of time. So it might end up being April. Let's just be honest, because I want to give you plenty of time to get your supplies. I got to do my prototype, design it, sew it, make the pattern. So then we can quilt along. I can tell you the supplies you need, but it's coming. That's the exciting part. Hopefully it's exciting for you. If you want to make a spring, you can make it whatever you want. But my goal with my fabric was springtime because it's florals. So I got myself a Rifle Paper Company Bramble bundle. So I'm not going to show them all to you, but that was my thing is I wanted it to be, I have lots of Christmas quilt table runners. Like I pulled those out at Christmas time, and I have one Valentine's and I have one Halloween, but I don't have a generic spring, like pretty spring flowers. Right now I'm just looking at, winter trees. But so this is just a beautiful, I thought it was gorgeous. I would be able to pull from it what I want and make a fun spring table runner. So I'm excited. So I got this beautiful quilt bundle, and that's what it's coming. So get excited. I haven't, that's the extent of my thing is I've planned that's what's happening, and this is the fabric for it. Yay. So those are my 2 hauls. I think that's it. Look, I'm chugging through the table. Easy enough. So I do have the winners from last week's giveaways real quick. And so if you remember, it was the Ana Luisa earrings. Here we have the French knot ones, which are super adorable. And so my friend Carol Brown, congratulations. The French knots are yours. And then the second pair were the gorgeous pair of hoops. And let me just show you. Gorgeous little huggy style hoops. And my friend Darlene Browning, congratulations. So if Carol and Darlene, if you want to send me your email, send me an email. My information is down below, and give me your shipping address, and I will get these earrings out to you lickety split. So congratulations. And then last but not least, I did promise you a little Tiger Lily shop, just because it was so fun yesterday. I showed this on Instagram. So if you saw this on Instagram, this is not new to you, but it was just a story. So it is now done and gone. I am a collector of the things. I collect vintage stitching that I upcycle. I collect vintage fabrics. I collect like quilt tops that are unfinished. The key is if it's old and it's a textile, I kind of have to have it in my collection. And so this week I decided, all right, I'm gonna dig in some of these buckets, and that's what's gonna be February. So February is fantastic, actually. So the Keeper collection is February 15th at 1 p.m. It's always on the 15th every month at 1 p.m. I don't know how many there's gonna be, but I do know there's going to be at least 3 of these. This was a fabric that I got in an antique store in Purcellville like 10 years ago. And I was just drawn to it, and it's been in my bucket, and I totally forgot about it. But I pulled it out yesterday, and I about fell out of my chair because I was like, I can't believe I forgot about this fabric. Do you see what it says? A stitch in time. Is that not perfect? Okay, first of all, so I did have to do a little bit of finagling. You can see the stories. So this is the cover of a Project Keeper, and there's the back, and this is the front, and this is the Project Keeper. So like I said, I was able to get 4 of them cut out of this remnant piece. I don't even think it might have been a yard. 2 remnant pieces of this vintage fabric that I have been holding on to for I don't know how long, but I finally cut into it, and I'm giving it a new life, and I'm so excited. And spoiler alert, 3 people are going to be twinsies with me because there's actually 4, and I'm keeping 1 for myself. Yay. So that is one of the things that are going to be in the February Keeper Club, or not the Keeper Club, the Keeper launch on the 15th, the monthly collection on the 15th. There will be 3 of those, but there will be lots of other stuff, lots of vintage stitching, because I always have vintage stitching to dig out of my buckets, and that's what I've got, friends. So hopefully that's fun. I did have, like I said, there was a live video this week, so if you haven't caught back, go back and check that out. That was so much fun to sit there and chat about whether you're a center starter or a full Xer, or variegated or all the needle, all the things, stitching in hand, needles. We talked lots of things. The live was so much fun. And then I also released yesterday the Keeper Club box show and tell type situation. So just in case, I waited for everybody's to receive except for my 2 Canada friends. I'm sorry. International postage. But all my US friends had gotten their boxes, and so I thought it was safe to release the walkthrough spoiler box. And so I did talk about that. Now, of course, I'm doing April. I'm getting ready for it, planning and doing all those things. Just so you know, like my wait list, I'm still taking the names, I'm still making the wait list, but I'm almost past the threshold of how many I'm going to have for April. So I might be past it, but still get your name on the wait list. Down below will take you to my website and get your name on the wait list. You never know who's going to drop out, and then you just keep moving up. So hopefully if it's something you want to get your name on the list to get subscribed to the club box, get on the list. And that's what I've got for you today, friends. Hopefully short, sweet, to the point, lots of stitching, lots of fun. And I hope you had a good time, and I will see you next time, friends. Happy stitching.